Hey guys, Chuck Barone here with the show for Tuesday, June 28th, 2022. And we're glad you're here with us. We appreciate your guys' support every day, and we're humbled and really grateful to have you along with us. Special shout out today to our friends watching from other countries other than the USA. Our friends in Europe, Canada, Australia, and around the world. We really appreciate you guys watching the show. We're really grateful. Today's market report, well, it was an interesting day on the market again. The stock market today was down pretty sharply, giving back gains. The close was very weak. There was no attempt to even rally at the end of the day. It was not a happy day for the market. S&P down pretty dramatically, so the broader market's getting hit as well as the Dow stocks. Of course, NASDAQ leading the way. It just was not a good day for stocks today. The bond market, pretty much flat. The 10-year closing at 3.20. The interesting anomaly in the bond market today was that we had an inversion with the 5-year yield higher than the 10-year yield. So the yield curve kind of has a little bump in it as it gets up higher. And we're going to watch that because yield curve inversions are typically almost a 100% indicator of a recession coming. The dollar was up marginally today, fractionally, pretty much a flat day. The metals market today was not a happy day either. The gold market is down just fractionally, with silver down 1.5% today. For some reason, silver is getting beat up. I don't know if it's people needing to sell some of their metal to live with these higher prices, if it's market manipulation or whatever it is. Silver's down, and maybe a little bit of a buying opportunity coming up here in silver. The oil market had a nice rally today. The West Texas was up 2%. Brent was up 2.5%. Natural gas prices were flat today. So oil seems to be coming back from that. It got beat up a little bit last week, and now it seems to be rallying right back up to prices that are more realistic with what we're dealing with every day at the gas pumps. Bitcoin was down a bit today. It's still holding that support number at 20,000, so it's still in that trading trough. We're waiting to see whether it breaks out to the upside or the downside, and we'll have a little bit more of an indication of where things are going to go in the near term for Bitcoin. I think that it's going to be probably soon. I don't know how long it can stay in this trough, so we'll see where the support is for the buy side or the sell side. In news today, some interesting stuff going on in the world, guys. This recession we've been talking about coming up, every day we see more and more signs that this recession's coming. Today, of course, in Vegas real estate, we see these signs, right? Real estate price cuts happening all over the place. Sellers getting a little more realistic about what's possible in this market, taking down prices. The listings, the amount of houses for sale. Here in Vegas, the supply has been so small. Literally, we've had a 2-week supply of houses. And they say that a normal functioning market in real estate is a 6-month supply, which sounds a little high, but that's what they say in the industry. So a 2-week supply you can see is dramatically a seller's market. I mean, there's no supply. Well, over the past 6 weeks or so, we went from a 2-week supply to a 2-month supply. So I think all the people that were waiting to see the price top out are feeling like it's there. More houses going on the market at smaller, lower prices. Sellers willing to make some concessions, and sellers are learning some lessons here because over the past year or so they've been selling their houses, and some days literally the minute they list it, they have offers coming. People have been closing on houses in less than 30 days. Well, now it's taking a little bit longer. The amount of houses that are being on the market for 30 days or longer is up dramatically. I think sellers still have an unrealistic expectation of what the market's like out there. So we have a little bit of resistance because the sellers are expecting to get massive top dollar for their properties. Buyers reading the tea leaves and seeing where the prices are and the amount of decline in the market are expecting to get concessions and lower prices from these sellers. So the tug of war now starts. And if I'm a betting man, I'm betting my money on the buy side because it looks like the transition was pretty dramatic from seller's market to buyers. agents are cutting their commissions like crazy. I'm a reader, I read newspapers like crazy, and the ads I'm seeing in the papers, I've never seen more ads with realtors offering their services full service for massively discounted commissions. I think they're leading the way down in the industry. I don't think that's a great strategy to help the industry survive. I think that these poor realtors, they have it pretty cushy. The commissions they make when they sell a house or, or on the buyer side or the seller side is pretty nice. Realtors make a pretty good living if they're active and doing well. I think with these big haircuts they're getting, I think it's going to turn into an industry where, a regular guy could make a good living to now a regular guy can't anymore. They're going to discount themselves into oblivion. It's crazy. I think that we've already seen layoffs coming in the mortgage business and banking. We're starting to see layoffs already on Wall Street as they're cutting their exposure. Big companies are cutting, little companies are cutting. I think it's going to start affecting these employment numbers that we've been seeing that have been so robust. As real estate typically goes the attitude of this country, and things are going to start working in reverse here for everybody. Other signs of this recession coming, bad stuff happening, guys. Delinquent payments on credit cards and car payments and consumer loans are rising dramatically. So people are already, just in this very short time, struggling to pay their bills. They're going to pay more for the necessaries, and they're going to buy food before they pay a credit card bill if they have to choose between the two. So bad stuff coming, bad stuff happening. It's just already turning crazy. You're seeing credit card companies now, and you might want to take a look at your own statements, starting to cut limits on people's credit cards. So you see people who have like a credit card they keep for emergencies that has a $10,000 limit on it. Well, guess what? They get their statement, all of a sudden that limit's down to $5,000. So the credit card companies are starting to protect themselves, cutting limits on cards. Have a look at your card to see if your limits are safe and where they are. Interest rate on credit cards is going up. Interest rate on car loans is going up. Interest rates on mortgages have gone through the roof. It's just crazy, just literally wiping out the business in a matter of weeks. What's interesting to me, though, is the interest on your deposit accounts isn't going up. And if it is, it's going up nowhere near the amount as what they're like. Banks want to pay you this 0.1% and collect 3, 4, 5% over here on what they're lending out. So they're going to use your money, pay you nothing for it, and lend it out at exuberant rates and keep the profits for themselves. I think that if our political critters were doing their jobs, that would not be legal. I think you're seeing with these rate increases, more people becoming a little bit more averse to taking on debt. I think hopefully this is going to lead the way to people deciding to pay their debt down a little bit. And all of this, of course, leads to the same conclusion: a mighty big recession coming. I saw an article today that if you go to the gas station and when you swipe your card to fill your tank, they're reserving $150 on your card to fill your tank. That's a record. It's never been that high, so I'm not exactly sure what that means, but it's expensive. We have states. This is an interesting thing I saw today. States now are talking about providing free money to people to help them cope with these rising prices. So this is the genius of government again. What they're going to do is put more money in circulation to help people pay their current bills. And while they're doing that, they're creating more inflation, and people's expenses are going to get even more expensive, higher expenses, because of this help they want to provide. I think it would be a good idea for them to stop helping us and let the market do its thing and settle where it's going to settle. I think, sadly, that the federal government will probably follow suit. They saw how easily they could get and distribute money during this COVID pandemic. I think that if things really get bad, that politically, it's good for them politically to give people money to help them with their expenses. It's just not good economically, because by providing this money, that's what got us where we are in the first place. Providing more money and putting more money into circulation is probably not the best way to solve it. I think that price inflation, they're going to solve inflation by creating more inflation. I think that just, to any thinking man, is an absurdity. Now remember, guys, the information you're getting on blogs like this, on Greg's, on other blogs out there that are talking about real stuff, the truth, what's happening in this markets, in this world, in this country, it's putting you guys way, way, way ahead of the curve as far as where we are now and what's coming. So I tell you to be patient and look for these continuing signs we've been seeing in these markets. The cracks are appearing in the dam, and it's just a matter of time before the water rushes through these cracks. So every day we're going to talk about this stuff, try to prepare you, get you in a more defensive position. If you heard the show from yesterday, we gave you a little bit of basic economic advice on how to start getting started in building your wealth, in building your fortune, laying the foundation for that. Take that advice. Hunker down, man. Be a little bit more thoughtful with the way you're spending money. Be a little more thoughtful with your budgeting. Try not to do too much impulsive stuff. Really think things through, because the storm we're going to have here is going to be a bad one. But at the end of that storm, there's going to be opportunity for everybody where, you're going to be able to get the things you want now, later, for a much better price. So hang in there, and this market will reward you for doing the right thing. Of note today, in the news, we saw that Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein's ex-girlfriend, was sentenced today to 20 years in prison for her crimes. I think it's interesting only in the respect that she hasn't rolled over and ratted out everybody in this whole thing. Everybody has their suspicions on all the people Epstein was connected to, and I think I don't know if it's admirable or not that she's actually keeping her lips zipped and not squealing out on all these guys. I find it remarkable, truthfully, because that would certainly be the exception rather than the rule. And just to close today, one last little tidbit, just to tell you another little story from the genius, my mentor. One of the things he taught me. This will be amusing for you guys, I think. Back in the 80s, I was buying precious metals, and he was watching me buy metals. I was gold and silver bug like crazy. And he was, asking me what my plan was for these metals, and I was explaining to him that there were a store of value in the event of the dollar collapse, that this would be real money. And he said, well, okay, that's great. It's a good idea to do that and protect yourself, but, what good will a gold coin do you if you want a sandwich? And you can't very well trade a gold coin for a sandwich. And what do you see yourself shaving, little pieces off and weighing them? No. So what he suggested, and I thought was very clever, he said, go buy yourself a couple of cases of ivory bar soap. In the event of a dollar collapse, it's going to be chaos out on the streets, and it's not going to be really a safe thing to be carrying metal, gold, and silver around. He said, but a bar of soap, you probably ain't going to get any trouble carrying that around, and you could very easily trade soap for a sandwich, which I thought was very clever. In the beginning, I was a little bit insulted, but as I thought about it, it started to make more and more sense to me. And when I talk about these non-perishables, and you guys should be stocking up on some stuff, this is one thing I would advise you to have. Buy a case, a couple of cases, put it in your garage or whatever. It stays forever, and it's not very expensive to have. And in the event that what a lot of people believe is going to happen happens, not only will you have gold and silver as a store of value for your real worth, you'll have some stuff that you can easily carry around and trade and barter to get the things you want that are not big expenses. Anyway, I really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch these videos. We're grateful to have you guys here every day. We're going to try to get this show better and better, and hopefully the audio today is better than it's been. We appreciate all your comments on that yesterday. As always, We ask that if you like the show, please hit like, share the video with your friends, comment, ask questions, and I promise we're going to start answering some of those questions soon. I've been trying to get online and answer them in the comments section. We're going to bring it back and answer some questions on the show. I might even just devote a whole show to that coming up soon. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Keep your money tight, guys. And until we see you again tomorrow, have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye. The timer went out, though.